welcome back to another episode of Cooking Kaysen. I am messing around with 4th of July recipes today because 4th of July is coming up, one of my favorite holidays. And I was trying to think about what kind of dessert I wanted to do for the 4th of July. And I've really been thinking a lot about pavlovas recently. Pavlovas are like a kind of traditional dessert of meringue and whipped cream and sometimes berries, sometimes other things. But they're usually like sort of they're cakes. They're usually larger cakes, not like mini individual desserts. But I thought it'd be fun to make sort of like mini pavlovas because they're handheld. You don't really need utensils to eat them, although you could. So they might be good for a cookout. And then if we add some red and blue berries, they could look quite patriotic. So I'm going to experiment with mini pavlovas today. So the base of a pavlova is a meringue. The bad news is a meringue takes quite a while to cook and dry out. The good news is you can make it ahead of time. You could make it 2 or 3 days ahead of time, store it at room temperature in an airtight container, and then just fill your pavlovas the day of, so it makes the day of construction super easy. So the first thing I did to make my meringues is I cleaned out my bowl and my whisk with a little bit of acidity. I used some apple cider vinegar, and this is just to get rid of any fat molecules that might be hanging around since your last recipe, which would keep your egg whites from forming to stiff peaks. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to whip 4 egg whites to soft peaks. And they just look kind of fluffy and they just start to kind of get white. And then we're going to add in, slowly incorporate a cup of sugar. And then we're going to continue to whip these egg whites in the sugar to stiff peaks. So stiff peaks is when you dip your whisk into your mixture. When it comes out, it holds that peak of egg white that it brings up with it. But you just want to be careful not to over whip your egg whites because they will get kind of grainy and nobody wants that. And then I piped these sort of mini meringue nests or pavlova nests. And you could do this a couple different ways. You could just dollop your meringue onto your parchment paper and sort of create a crater in the middle where our filling is going to go. I decided to go ahead and pipe it, but you could do it several different ways. So you have to bake these at 200 degrees for 2 hours. But then after 2 hours, we're going to turn off the oven, but leave the meringues in the oven for another half an hour, maybe to an hour, maybe more, until they get dry. We want them to be nice and dry. So the way that we know that our meringues are done is they're hard to the touch. And also they're hollow. If we tap the bottom, it should sound pretty hollow. So they're very porous and very dry. And when we add our filling into the middle, the porous meringue is going to kind of soak up the moisture from the filling. And then we'll put our berries on top and it'll be quite a nice little handheld dessert. So it's like kind of a meringue cookie, but with a little crater in the middle so we can put our filling in. So I've gone through and I've sorted out my favorite meringue nests. Some of them kind of browned or were floppy looking, so I picked out my favorites. But I'm actually going to set them aside for now because we're not quite ready to assemble our mini pavlovas. So I want to show you what I did with the berries. I picked out some red and blue berries, and these are our, red and blue, to our red, white, and blue patriotic mini pavlovas. And I've cut up the strawberries and thrown them in with some blueberries and some raspberries, but I've also squeezed a bit of lemon juice over the berries. And it's not gonna impart a lot of lemon flavor, but it is going to help the juices leak out of the berries, which is gonna be great for flavor, but also I think it's gonna be great for our aesthetic. When we dump these on our pavlovas, we might get a little drizzle of berry juice, which will be really nice. So I've just topped these with lemon juice and I'm just gonna set them aside room temp. No need to keep in the fridge because we're about to top them in. The next thing I wanna do is make some whipped cream. And I'm going to do it with some Thai coconut milk and show you how you could make this a completely dairy-free dessert. So all you want to do is take the fat from the top of this coconut milk. I've left it in the fridge overnight to get that fat nice and chilled, so it'll be easy to take out. So we want this tough coconut fat that's sitting at the top of the can. We don't want the coconut water or milk, so to speak, that's sitting at the bottom. See, I've just kind of cracked through and you'll see the water. Whoops. See the water in there. We don't want that. We just want the white coconut fat. All right, so we have our coconut fat in the mixer. We're going to whip this with about 1/4 cup of powdered sugar. So very near the consistency of whipped cream. and dairy-free. I'm gonna add a little bit of vanilla extract to this, if I can find it. I'm gonna add about a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract to this. And you could stop here, and this would be a gluten-free and dairy-free dessert. You could just have this be your filling in your meringue nest. But I'm gonna go a step further than that, making this not dairy-free, this particular version. I'm gonna add some mascarpone cheese. Mascarpone cheese is delicious. It's used in tiramisu. It's a lot like cream cheese. It's just really great in both sweet and savory because it's just mild. It's just a mild, wonderful, wonderful cheese. It just tastes delicious. I mean, if you ever had tiramisu, you know. So I'm just gonna run my fork through it and get it a little soft. And now I'm gonna add the whipped cream. And you want to stir this until it's very well incorporated. Look at how beautiful this is. And if you feel like it's not getting incorporated the way you want, go ahead and stick it back in the stand mixer and give it a whip. Looks really, really beautiful. Tastes sweet, fresh, clean, awesome. We're just gonna fill our little nests with our filling. Other options for filling could be lemon curd, you could do jam, chocolate mousse. Possibilities are pretty much endless. And I'm just gonna spread this out. And our meringue nests are a little crunchy, so I want to be careful not to crush them. I want the guests to be able to do that when they bite into it. All right, now for the berries. The most exciting part, the juice from these berries is all in the bottom of the bowl. Oh man, this is gonna be good. Aren't these gorgeous? They're just beautiful. So this was just from adding that bit of lemon juice. Really extracted these berries juices, and it just looks really pretty. Oh yeah, look at that. Beautiful. They're so pretty. Little handheld pavlovas. They smell so fresh and so summery. I can't wait to bite into it. Let's do this. This is what we're looking at. It's quite porous on the bottom. Then you have that lovely mascarpone whipped cream filling and the berries on top. I mean, it's just delicious. Are we getting a good focus here? Really, really delicious. Thank you so much for watching my precious little sweet pavlovas. I'm so thankful that you watched this video. I hope you enjoyed this recipe, and I hope you have a wonderful 4th of July. I will see you next time.